Eyewitness News. Breaking news.
That breaking news just into our newsroom in the last 10 minutes or so. Wichita Public Schools will be closed today due to the winter weather. Direct results of the winter storm moving across the state. You can see we have an extensive list of closings and delays on our website and news app. We also have that list of closings and delays scrolling at the bottom of your screen. That's just one example of the impact this Storm Team 12 Weather Alert Day is having as round 2 of a winter storm is moving across the state right now. You can see that activity on radar in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. We also have new video of the snow falling in Wichita as we speak. Take a look at that. We have Team 12 coverage for you. Kristen Boxman out monitoring road conditions in the metro, and we have 2 meteorologists in studio this morning to bring you in-depth weather coverage. Let's start with Jake Dunn, who has your first forecast. Hey, Jake. If you have to drive in areas affected by the winter storm, AAA says make sure you keep a safe distance between your car and the car in front of you. Please drive for the conditions. That means slow down. Don't use cruise control. Make sure you clean and scrape all of your windows before you head out, and always remember to wear your seatbelt. It could save your life. Now, another reminder for drivers about being prepared. If you know a major storm is coming and you have to drive in it, fill up your gas tank the day before, or at least make sure you have half a tank. Bare minimum. You'll want to check your tire tread for adequate traction and replace old wiper blades. Make sure you have an extra cell phone battery and put a warm blanket in your trunk in the event you get stranded. Then you'll want to call a Kansas Highway Patrol dispatcher by dialing *47. Governor Laura Kelly issued a delay for state employees in Shawnee County. They got close to 8 inches of snow there. State offices have been closed since midnight last night, and they will stay closed until 10 this morning to give road crews enough time after sunrise to clear the streets and sidewalks. The delayed start time will impact all non-essential state employees in Shawnee County. We have received a lot of your storm shots from round 1 of the winter weather. We're still sifting through them all. Thank you. We want to show you some of them. Kathy sent us this picture from Milton Vale. Look at, she put a ruler there to show us that's just under 5 inches of snow. Walter took this picture out in Lindsborg. As you can see, driving conditions were not the safest. Hopefully he was a passenger in that car. And John sent us this picture from Alma. Look at that jackknifed semi. Wow. Now you can send us your storm shots too. We would love to see what it looks like where you live. Of course, only if you can take photos safely. You can send photos to us through our Facebook page, the KWCH 12 News app, or the Storm Team 12 weather app. There's upload functions on all of those. Breaking news just into our newsroom. Derby just canceled classes due to the winter weather. We also told you in just the last half hour, Wichita Public Schools also decided to cancel. This means now every school district in the Wichita metro area has canceled classes for the day, including Andover, Mays, Goddard, Valley Center, and Hayesville. This a direct result of the winter storm moving across the state. You can see we have an extensive list of closings and delays on our website and news app right now. We also have that list scrolling across the bottom of your screen. Kansas Highway Patrol troopers say one westbound lane of I-70 near Manhattan is back open this morning, but they're still asking drivers to avoid the area. Look at this mess. Man, according to Trooper Ben Gardner, semis having a hard time climbing the incline here. Issues can lead to backups and delays. In total, KHP worked 5 crashes yesterday. Thank goodness there were no serious injuries, but it's a mess. Please be safe today. Hey, Lyons County dispatchers also urging you to not be out on the road as conditions are just not suitable for driving. If you do, you run the risk of sliding off the road, getting into a crash. Lyons County dispatchers say there are slick spots and snow-packed roads throughout the county. They actually shared this picture on Facebook to give you an idea of what it looks like there. I mean, winter wonderland. Emergency crews say if you don't have a reason to be out, please stay home, grab a blanket, watch some Netflix. I'll take that excuse any day. We have received a lot of storm shots from round 1 of this winter storm. We're still sifting through all of them. Thank you. We want to show you a few of them. Cheryl sent us this picture from Milford, Kansas. Look at the snow on top of that Jeep there. And Lenora sent us this picture, about 7 inches of snow that fell near Canopolis. Look at that. And then Kevin broke out his measuring stick as well to show us nearly 9 inches of snow near Abilene. You can send us your storm shots too. We would love to see what what it looks like where you live, assuming you can take pictures safely. Don't do that while you're driving or anything. You can send us photos through our Facebook page, the KWCH 12 News app, Storm Team 12 app, whatever suits your fancy. Eyewitness News keeping in touch with our sources this morning so that you are prepared for the winter weather out and about and you can keep your family safe. We have Tom Hine with KDOT on the phone right now. Tom, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. What are the road conditions looking like right now?
Well, we're seeing a lot of snowpack roads, and I think that's going to really affect the commute. A lot of schools have canceled, which is good. That will keep quite a few vehicles off the road and give our snowplows a chance to work. They've been working through the night, plowing off the snow, but really it's tough to make an impact right now, and I think it's going to be a slow commute.
This is a Storm Team 12 weather alert.
We've issued that weather alert this morning because of the winter storm moving across the state. Here's a look at radar right now. The biggest threat, freezing rain. This can make your morning commute dangerous. Kristen Boxman is out monitoring road conditions for you this morning, but let's start with meteorologist Jake Dunn, who's tracking the latest on this system. Good morning, Jake. And before you head out the door this morning, know what your neighborhood streets look like. The city of Wichita has this snow plow tracker on its website. The tracker uses GPS so you can follow the city's plow trucks. You can see where trucks have been and where they are right now. The colors don't mean anything in particular except to help you differentiate the different paths. Public Works says crews started pre-treating roads earlier this week to try to minimize the risk.
We deployed our full contingent of 60 trucks. They have been lightly dusting with salt and sand material all of the 1,500 lane miles of primary city streets, as well as 300 lane miles of school routes.
We saw trucks out yesterday afternoon before the storm hit, even overnight, to stay on top of this. Remember, if you do see trucks out treating the roads, please give them enough space to work. The saying is, don't crowd the plow. And don't forget, as you prepare to head out for work or school, don't leave your car running unattended. When it gets cold, people like to warm their cars up, but police say you run the risk of having your car stolen. Police say it only takes thieves a few seconds to hop in and take off. If you are traveling this morning or later today, here's what the roads look like statewide. The Can Drive map is a good resource to use because it shows you the trouble spots across the state. Right now, not any major issues on the main roadways like I-70. Some areas are partially covered in snow. That's the blue color here. Others, the brown, considered seasonal, not really a big deal, just what you would expect this time of year. It's the less traveled roads that have the most accumulation. Purple indicates roads that are completely covered. If you see red, that means the road is closed, and I'm not seeing any, at least from this perspective right here. You can also dial 511 to get all of this information. You've heard Storm Team 12 talk about ice with this storm. We're expecting to get about 1/10 of an inch of ice, which isn't much, but Evergy says it's ready to go if there are power outages. This is what ice does to power lines. Depending on the amount of ice, it can add hundreds of pounds to power lines, causing them to sag like this or even break. Now, this is video from the ice storm in 2005. Some areas saw up to 2 inches of ice that year. Look at how caked on that ice is on the trees. Again, we're not expecting this much ice with this storm today, but we wanted to show you just how severe an ice storm can get. Now, according to weather.com, there are 3 levels of ice storms. The first one is nuisance. A nuisance ice event consists of 1/4 inch or less of accumulation. This event can make travel dangerous. That light glazing coats your car windshield. Bridges are slick, and there's some light ice on the trees. Now, a disruptive event consists of 1/4 to 1/2 inch of ice accumulation. This amount of ice starts to damage trees and power lines like we showed you. In addition to icy roads, there are power outages. Now, a crippling event is the worst. It consists of widespread accumulation. We're talking more than 1/2 inch of ice. There are widespread power outages which could last for days, and roads are extremely dangerous and impassable in some spots. Again, we're not expecting that with this storm. Kansas has had its fair share of ice storms, though. Here are the top 5 ice storms to hit the state. Number 1 on the list is the 2007 event. Nearly all of Kansas saw 1 to 2 inches of ice. Many areas were without power for nearly 2 weeks. Damage to the electrical infrastructure was estimated at $136 million, making this the costliest ice storm in Kansas history. Number 2 was January 29th through the 31st in 2002. The total damage estimated at around $60 million. Number 3, the 2005 ice storm we mentioned a minute ago. Damage, $36 million. Coming in 4th place, the storm in March of 1984. Southwest to northeast Kansas got hit the hardest with this storm. And finally, the ice storm in March of 1998. Damage, $3.4 million. Power outages lasted 6 days.
Thank you, Kristen. If you have to drive in areas affected by the winter storm, listen up to these tips from AAA. Make sure you keep a safe distance between your car and the car in front of you. Drive for the conditions, which means slow down. And do not use cruise control. Make sure you clean and scrape all your windows before you head out. And always remember to wear your seatbelt.
Now another reminder for drivers about being prepared. If you know a major storm is coming and you'll have to drive in it, fill up your gas tank the day before, or at least make sure you have half a tank. You'll want to check your tire tread for adequate traction and replace old wiper blades. Make sure you have an extra cell phone battery and put a warm blanket in your trunk in case you get stranded. If that happens, call a Kansas Highway Patrol dispatcher by dialing *47.
New this morning, tensions between the U.S. and Iran may start to simmer again. This comes after Iran's supreme leader called President Trump a clown and a backstabber during his first Friday sermon. The U.S. military just confirmed 11 service members were hurt when Iran launched missiles at 2 air bases in Iraq. Military officials say some of the injured troops are still being treated for concussion symptoms linked to the blasts. The troops are receiving that treatment at a base in Germany and will return to Iraq once they heal. As for the missile launches, they were fired in retaliation for the U.S. killing Iran's top general.
This is KWCH 12 Eyewitness News this morning.
Storm Team 12 is tracking another system that could bring up to 3 inches of snow to some parts of the state. Let's send it over to meteorologist Jake Dunn to find out when the flakes will start falling, the impact to local events. Jake, what size of a storm are we talking about? Jake, thank you. Breaking news on a historic day in America. We are just hours away from the start of President Trump's impeachment trial in the Senate. The president was impeached in the House on charges of abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts will preside over the trial. Today at noon, the impeachment managers and the president's legal team will debate and vote on a resolution setting the rules for the trial. Both sides will have 24 hours each to make opening arguments. This is only the 3rd time in U.S. history a president that has been tried in the Senate with the possibility of being removed from office. Both Andrew Johnson and Bill Clinton were acquitted in their trials. For the first time in franchise history, the Hunt family gets to hoist the Lamar Hunt Trophy. In case you've been hiding under a rock, the Chiefs are the AFC champions. They're now gearing up for Super Bowl 54 against the San Francisco 49ers. Did you know the wife of former Kansas City Chiefs owner Lamar Hunt is going to Super Bowl 54? Norma Hunt kissed the trophy during the game. There she is. This is the post-celebration in Arrowhead. Norma is the only woman to attend every single Super Bowl. She's known as the First Lady of Football, and she actually played a small role in how the big event got its name. Listen to this. According to reports, when her children were little, she bought them toys called Super Balls. During a league meeting decades ago, her late husband Lamar pitched the idea of renaming the championship game. He used the name of the toys, Super Balls, but instead he suggested the league call the big game the Super Bowl. The parties involved agreed, and that name was adopted. The Super Bowl moniker was first used with the 3rd annual championship game in 1969. The following year, the Chiefs beat the Minnesota Vikings in Super Bowl 4. Clark Hunt says he's excited about the big game, and his dad would be so proud.
Obviously, we're very, very emotional, very, very excited to win the trophy that has my dad's name on it and have an opportunity to head to Miami for Super Bowl 54.
As for the 49ers, this will be the organization's 8th trip to the Super Bowl overall. The most recent was in 2013, led by quarterback Colin Kaepernick. The 49ers have 5 Super Bowl championships. That's the 3rd most in NFL history. AAA shared a few tips to help you save some cash if you're going to the game. The agency says shop around for the cheapest airfare. Do your homework on airports in Miami, Orlando, Tampa, and even smaller airports like Fort Lauderdale. You'll also want to be careful when booking a hotel. Most bookings may be within the non-cancellation period, which means you'll be charged if you cancel your plans. And then also, good tip here, use your credit card to make your travel plans. That way you have a better chance of getting your money back if you need to dispute a charge. A Fact Finder 12 alert from Airbnb. The company is warning football fans who plan to travel to Miami, be on the lookout for scams. The company says rental scams are rare, but big events like the Super Bowl are the perfect opportunity for scammers. The company says make sure the place you are booking is legit. Airbnb offers advanced search features to help you find the right place. Read ratings and reviews. They are often good indicators about whether the rental is legitimate, clean, and safe. Don't be afraid to ask the host questions, especially if you have concerns. When you arrive, do a safety check. Make sure the rental has a first aid kit and fire extinguishers. And the company does have 24/7 support if you have any issues. Today is your last chance to claim your part of a settlement for the 2017 Equifax data breach. The data breach exposed personal information for millions of people, and you're likely one of them. Keep in mind, if you requested the $125 cash payout, you probably won't get that much. So many people requested cash, so instead of the 10 years of free credit monitoring. If you'd like to file a claim, we put a link in this story on our KWCH 12 News app. Just search Equifax. We are watching your wallet as the 2020 tax season opens next Monday. Here are a few things you need to know ahead of next week. There are higher standard deductions for singles and married couples. It's $12,200 for singles and $24,400 for married couples. There is no penalty for not having health insurance. For divorces finalized after 2018, former spouses who pay alimony can no longer deduct those payments, and alimony income is no longer taxable for recipients. Taxpayers 65 and older who do not itemize have the option to use a new simplified 1040 form, and the last day to file your return is April 15th. Because we're watching your wallet this tax season, we thought you should know there's an option for you to file your return for free. It's part of the Free File program, which also starts Monday. The program combines tax software programs from companies other than the IRS. To qualify, your gross adjusted income must be $69,000 or less. Once you find a software you like, you can start processing your return. Now, keep in mind there are rules for each program that participates in Free File.
From Eyewitness News, breaking news.
Breaking news, we're just hours away from the start of President Trump's impeachment trial in the Senate.
The president was impeached in the House on charges of abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. This is only the third time in U.S. history that a president has been tried in the Senate with the possibility of being removed from office.
Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts will preside over the trial. Today at noon, the impeachment managers and the president's legal team will debate and vote on a resolution setting the rules for the trial. Both sides will have 24 hours each to make opening arguments.
Then 16 hours are reserved for senators to submit written questions to both teams. Admitting the House evidence requires a vote. Democrats plan to introduce amendments, including those calling for witnesses to testify. They'll need 4 GOP senators to vote with them for that to happen.
Mitch McConnell wants a fast trial, not a fair trial.
And it's my hope that we'll push through that and have that motion to dismiss and get through this national nightmare as fast as possible.
Some Republicans have signaled they do want to hear from relevant witnesses, though the White House could claim executive privilege to block them from testifying.
If witnesses are called, it could extend the trial. The conclusion could happen just before the State of the Union, which is 2 weeks from today.
A group in Wichita is calling on Kansas Senators Pat Roberts and Jerry Moran to include key witnesses and evidence in the impeachment trial. They're asking for a nonpartisan trial that steps outside politics and looks at the trial objectively.
This democracy belongs to every Kansan and every American. A trial needs complete and transparent witnesses and evidence, and this trial is no exception.
Here's a look at the schedule for the trial. The Senate will reconvene at 11:30. At noon, the Senate will sit as a court as the trial begins. Again, the first order of business is to debate and vote on a resolution outlining the rules of the trial. The trial will run 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. It will start at noon each day.
Listen up to this because we have a quick programming note to mention. CBS plans to cover the trial live as a special report. Again, this trial is expected to start at noon, so the timing of that special report could impact Eyewitness News at noon. We'll also stream the trial live on Facebook and on the KWCH 12 News app.